Hello there kind traveler, I see this thing where introverts use the T1000 equivalent to Morgan Freeman to express themselves on the internet is getting quite popular. Fuck it, I'm down. Instead of airing out the dirty laundry of Reddit and going to simply tell stories of random fuckery from my life up till this point, I guess I'll start with my first relationship. 15-year-old me at the time had already lost my virginity to a random babysitter. Cliche I know, but hey, it happens. So let's just start this magical adventure, shall we? Me being confused by life and all its wonders was lost and wasn't mentally prepared when a female from a grade below approached me and simply asked if I wanted to see a movie or something. By this point the only real conversation I'd had with females was usually pertaining to a test subject or something of the sort. I was unsure how to respond honestly, so I simply said yay sure, and she responded by giving me her number. I'm pretty sure this is around the time when Android phones were getting popular. Anyway, a few days later we meet and see Van Helsing or something cool like it. I must admit she portrayed herself perfectly to lure a moron like me in. We started hanging out and eventually started dating. Now time for some insight. We will call her Tommy. Tommy was a very attractive girl with nice assets in all areas, so me thinking with my reproductive system was definitely playing a major factor in my decision to hook up with her. However, there were red flags everywhere once I met her family. Her older sister was a grade ahead of me and was quite slutty, but this wasn't a secret or anything. Everyone in the community knew, even her parents and close relatives. She'd have a boyfriend and be actively engaging in baby making practice with 4 or 5 other guys at the same time. What's really hilarious is earlier during the same year she made a pass at me, but I wasn't interested, lol. So where to start with the problems? I guess first off would be the fact the family as a whole were pretty poor. Nothing wrong with being poor, but the only person who worked in the household was the father. Let's call him Lee. To be honest, he wasn't a bad guy, but he frankly killed himself, sometimes working 3 to 4 jobs at a time to feed his family and meet his fat ass wife's ghetto fabulous lifestyle. There's nothing negative to say about him other than he's stupid and loves his kids, I guess. Now on to the wife. Let's refer to her as Lisa. Lisa was 34 when I initially met her and had never had a job. She didn't have any disabilities or anything. It's just she figured it's easier to just fuck her slaving husband's friends for quick cash than actually having a job. This went on for years apparently. Every year the mother would claim all the kids and shit and end with a few $1,000s. The usually cycle was this: get tax refund, then go find a shady ass dealership who doesn't care about your credit, then proceed to use cash as a down payment on an up-to-date vehicle instead of just finding one for cash. Then have said vehicle for a few months before starting to run from repossession services. Eventually they end up losing the vehicle. Now onto housing. I'd never seen people move so much within a single year. It was a mixture of getting evicted and the shithole house not being livable. So anyway, around the time I had showed up the family had just lost their vehicle, so I would often drive the father to work and such. No big deal, ya know. I eventually became the chauffeur for the family, driving the sisters to school and friends' houses on top of driven to father to work, even the mother to get weed sometimes. All these issues were odd to me. Not to say I was rich or thing, it's just my mom always worked her ass off. My father died when I was young, so my mother had to set a foundation for me and my sisters herself. She made sure we always had decent clothes and shoes to wear on top of keeping all the utilities paid on time. So seeing someone have their water or electricity disconnected was very foreign to me. The first theme of the relationship that pissed me off was I had evidence Tommy was cheating on me with some random dude I didn't know. The entire family aside from the father would immediately jump to her defense and attempted to dispel the accusations I had brought forth. I simply had to drop it because it was apparent I was very outnumbered. This happened multiple times before I was finally fed up and literally called the whole family on it, as they all knew she was cheating on me. It was just the fact I had a job as a welder's apprentice and was actually pretty smart, so I was beginning to get scholarship offers by this point. Shit hit the fan when the father came home to see the mother cheating. She called the police and after Lee was arrested the mother continued to enjoy her night of fun. When Lee was released from jail he simply just accepted it and let it go. I was seeing all this shit unfold and began to wake up by this point and figured Tommy was cute but wasn't worth investing in seriously. So I began to rack up hours at work and would only come over to have sex with her. I lost my shit when I found out the mom wanted Tommy and I to have unprotected sex. I simply began to spend less and less time with her and family. Then randomly one day Tommy called and asked me for money to buy bread and bologna. I promptly said no and heard the mother in the background yelling. Tommy hung up and then called back shortly after saying we need to break up. I laughed and said alright, causing her to become upset. She began saying crap, like you don't love me and shit. I just responded thanks for the time you've given me. So we broke up, and like 3 days later she called crying saying she missed me and wanted it. I dismissed her and blocked her number. She'd even randomly pop up at my house causing my mother to call the cops on her. There are many details and weird situations I'm leaving out, but that shit would be too specific. So thank you for your time kind travelers, like and subscribe for more.